All right, guys, sorry I'm not there today. I'm not feeling very well, but I have a video for you. So right now you should have your note packet out or getting it out and flipping to where we stopped when we last saw each other. So we did segment addition. You should be finding the midpoint spot. Okay, looks like this. So we're going to talk about midpoints. So what is a midpoint? Well, the word mid is in there, and that is just what it sounds like. That means middle. So a midpoint is a middle point. Okay, so the midpoint of a segment AB is the point M on AB such that AM equals MB. Okay, so there's a couple ways that we show that. So on a picture, if you ever see lines like this, those are called tick marks. Those show that these two parts right here are equal to each other. Okay, so those tick marks we're going to show a lot. Okay, so the midpoint is just how to find the middle of something. Okay, so if you're just trying to find one middle spot, you just add two numbers together and then divide by 2. Okay, so a couple quick examples of that. If I wanted to find the coordinates of the midpoint, so not the whole distance, but just the middle of GH. Okay, here's GH. Sure, you could count like 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah, this spot right here is in the middle. So that's on the number line, that's -3. Right, you could just count. Sometimes it may not be as easy. So like HE, 1, 1. Oh, I don't really know what's in the middle right there. So you could use that formula. So H would be on -1, E's on 2. So if you add those together and divide it by 2, -1 plus 2 is 1. 1 divided by 2 is a half. Okay, 1 divided by 2 is 0.5. So that's the midpoint of those two. Okay. Last one, E is the midpoint of a segment with one endpoint at G. What is the other coordinate of the other endpoint? Okay, so that's saying, let me erase this. That's saying that E is the middle point of G and something else. So that means that there's something that's going to be over on this side. So middle means one side's the same as the other side. So if I counted from E, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 out, then I could count the same distance on the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? So my circle was a little off. And I know that's off the number line. But we can figure out what that number is, right? This would be 7, 8, so this would be 9. Okay, so the other point would be at 9. Okay, so then more often, we're going to find midpoints of stuff on graphs. So it's really the same thing. We just do it twice. So we have to do it with our x's and our y's. So here is your midpoint formula. You add your x's and divide by 2. And then you add your y's and divide by 2. And then your answer is always a point. Okay, answer is a point. So it'll look like this. Okay, so let's graph this first one. So given FP has a midpoint T with F at -7, 1. So that means left 7, up 1. So there's F. P is at 3, 6. That's right here. We want to find the middle of that. Okay, and I can't just count. It's not a like vertical or horizontal line. So we're going to use that midpoint formula. So that says add your x's. That's x1 and x2. It just means both your x's. Divide by 2. Add your y's and divide by 2. That's just the formula we have written up there. Okay. So what I like to do is label my points. So like on point F, I know x comes first, y comes second. Since that's my first point, I'll put 1s by it. Okay, my second one, x comes first, y comes second. That's my second point, so I'll put 2s by it. So x1, y1, x2, y2. And then we're just going to plug those in. Okay, so x1 is negative 7 plus x2 is 3. That's divided by 2 from the formula. Okay, then we add our y's. So y1 is 1, y2 is 6, and we divide by 2. Excuse me. And then we need to solve those. So negative 7 plus 3, that's negative 4 divided by 2. 1 plus 6 is 7 divided by 2. Okay, I'm just going to do one more thing to simplify that. Negative 4 divided by 2, that's negative 2. 7 divided by 2, that's 3.5 or 3.5. Okay, so if I went to graph that, left 2, up 3.5, yep, that lands right about in the middle. So that's right. Okay. All right, let's graph this last one here. So given Wn has midpoint K with N at 1, 6, so right 1, up 6, so that's N, and K at 3, 1, okay. We want to find W. Oh, that's supposed to say. Actually, we're going to make this W. Okay, we want to find the midpoint. I want you to find the middle of that. Okay? This should actually say KN. Sorry about that. All right, so I want you to find the middle of that. So if the sub can pause the video for maybe just 2 minutes, 2 minutes, pause it, have everyone try it, and then come back, hit play, and we'll check it. All right, so hopefully you used your formula. So formula says add your x's. So, excuse me. Label your points. Add your x's. So 1 plus 3 divided by 2. 6 plus 1 divided by 2. Oh, excuse me, guys, sorry. 1 plus 3 is 4. That's still divided by 2. 6 plus 1 is 7 divided by 2. Ooh, almost the same as the other one. Oops. So it's 2 comma 3.5. Okay, so that would be about right here, which matches up. All right, so that is your midpoint formula. Last piece that we'll talk about, that we'll finish up with here, is kind of similar to what we worked on the other day with your segment addition. So here's the next question. No picture, so we need to draw a picture. Okay, what is the measure of PR if Q is the midpoint of PR and we're given some information? Okay, so let's draw that picture. So we have P and R. And it says Q is the midpoint. So this time I know that Q is exactly in the middle. So this is what I talked about before. When you have exactly the middle, to show that these two things are equal, we put those tick marks. Okay, so PR is 14x plus 2. That's the whole thing. Remember, we did parts and wholes. And then QR is 6 minus 3x. Okay, so this is kind of like what we did the other day, but this one we don't have some information, right? We always want to do the part plus the other part equals the whole thing. Okay, well, the problem is I don't have that first part, but we do know in this case that these two halves are the same thing, right? So if 1/2 is 6 minus 3x, then this half is also 6 minus 3x. Okay, and then based on the information that we had the other day, we can do the same thing here. So part plus part, right? Part plus part equals whole. Well, one part is 6 minus 3x plus the other part is also 6 minus 3x equals the whole thing, which is 14x plus 2. Okay, combine your like terms. 6 plus 6 is 12. And then you have some other like terms, minus 3x, so that's minus 6x equals 14x plus 2. Here you have x's on both sides, so it doesn't really matter what you do next. I might add 6x. If at any point I'm going too fast, you guys can ask the sub to pause the video and catch up for a second. So 14x plus 6x is 20x. Okay, so we have 20x and, oops, not 8, 10. Ooh, I'm going to get a fraction on this one, but that's okay. Okay, so 10 divided by 20 is not 2, it's 1/2, right, or 0.5. Okay, so this question then asks, what is the measure of PR? So I'm actually going to do one more thing on this. PR, if we go back up here, we were told that was 14x plus 2. Okay, so if I want to know what is PR, we just found what x is, right? It's 1/2 or 0.5. So we can go to our calculator and plug that in, right? You guys could do that in Desmos right now. Use your fraction button. So 14 times 1/2, that's 7. That means half of 14 plus 2. So 9 would be the final answer. So that's PR. Okay, PR equals 9. Okay. So how about right now, the sub, if you can pause problem B, pause the video, and you guys in your groups, why don't you take maybe like 3 minutes right now, do problem B, actually try it, right? If it's wrong, you just erase it. Actually try it, and then the sub can hit play again. We'll check it. All right, so let's check this. So this one, you have the picture. Find x such that h is the midpoint. Okay, so midpoint means, oops, we can put the tick marks on here. Okay, if 1/2 is 2x plus 1, then I know the other half is 2x plus 1. And then hopefully you set up your part plus part equals the whole. Okay, so that should be your equation. 26 is the whole thing. Combine your like terms. 2x and 2x is 4x. 1 and 1 is 2. Minus 2 from both sides. Sorry. Minus 2 from both sides. Divide by 4. So final answer, we should get x is 6. And this one did just say find x. Okay, so it's very similar to what we did the other day. It's just that little added thing of the midpoint. Okay, having something in the middle means 2 equal sides. Okay, we don't need to do the last one. I think you've listened to me talk enough here, so I'm going to stop there, and then the sub will tell you what's next. Thanks, guys.